Just talking musicals, musicals with you. Hello, I'm Lesley Anne Knight, and welcome to the Just Talking Musicals meetup, where I get to have a quick catch up with some of today's outstanding theatre professionals from the West End and Broadway. And today's guest is most definitely outstanding, with a musical theatre CV that graces both sides of the Atlantic. Born in upstate New York, he became a regular at the Broadway Dance Centre as a young dancer and found himself working on Broadway amongst legends such as George Abbott, Jerome Robbins and Arthur Lawrence. His Broadway credits range from Damn Yankees, Gypsy, Guys and Dolls, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, Chicago and Hello Dolly with Carol Channing. On this side of the Atlantic, his West End credits include Chicago, Guys and Dolls, You're in Town, The Producers, and Young Frankenstein playing Igor, which he played on Broadway too, just for good measure. Oh yes, and he was in Cats the movie as well. A massive welcome to today's Just Talking Musicals meet-up guest, Mr. Cory English. Hello.
Hello. Great to be here. Great to be here.
Oh, it's wonderful to get the chance to talk to you, Cory. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
My first question to you is, because here we are, end of June 2020, you were in the middle of a show, I believe, just before the COVID lockdown took place. What was the show you were working on?
I was at the Chocolate Factory doing, we just finished 6 weeks of rehearsal and opened on the Friday night. And then we did Friday, Saturday night, and then Monday came, and so did the lockdown.
Wow.
Got to do 2 performances of Indecent, probably one of the best stories that I've ever been able to tell, been part of, and one of the most challenging roles that I've ever had to do as well. It was disappointing for sure. But I hopefully one day we will all get together and do it again.
Yeah. I mean, tell me about, because it was an interesting show as well, wasn't it? I mean, what's the story behind it?
It was the telling of a production of God of Vengeance that started in Europe in the about 1910, 1912, ran in Europe for years, huge hit, God of Vengeance by Charlemagne, and finally made it to Broadway in about 2000, yeah, 1920s, 1921, 1922, and it got banned. The show was banned by the New York governing board. They said it was a little too risque. It had Jewish lesbians in it and prostitutes, and they shut it right down. The Vice Squad shut it down. Actors were arrested, and so was the producer. Amazing story by Paula Vogel, and she just wrote an amazing play. Won some Tonys, and so we were all very excited to do it here in the West End.
Yeah.
And David Bonnie, he can't wait to do it again. So hopefully, we'll do it again soon.
Well, you think all that hard work, all that rehearsal, and then just 2 shows.
Yeah.
Logic just says surely that's just got to come back, because the will of all of you in the cast and everyone involved in it, you just want to come back to it, don't you, and finish the job.
Yeah, very much. The story's incredible. It needs to be heard over here in this continent.
Yeah.
I had to learn. We all had to learn Yiddish. We had to sing in Yiddish. I personally had to learn Chinese, French, the language, not just the accents on top of learning Chinese, Spanish, and the accents as well.
It sounds fantastic. I had a ticket. I was all ready to come and see it. So you've got to hope that, and the Menio is such a fantastic theatre space as well, isn't it? And so you've just got to hope that it will all come together again.
The play set in an attic, so the venue was it was just everything was perfect.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect. So.
And so the thought behind it is with the producers that hopefully, yes, when everything gets
I think when we locked down, even 12 weeks after lockdown, the talk was this will be the first play up and running. Now next year, early part of the year, will this be the first show that people want to run to see after being locked down for a while? I'm not sure. That's something, for everybody to decide. Where is everybody? Where are we? What do we want to see? What do we want to have? Long, dramatic, epic stories, or do we want something just make me laugh sort of thing?
Well, I
And
think
there'll be
people
a
will be hungry
balance
for
out there.
culture.
Yes, yeah.
I think
Uh,
it's that we've all missed out. We've all been making our own fun. And I think, yeah, people do want to be cheered up, but you also still want to be made to think. And I think there's such a strong message
yeah,
in
yeah,
your play that,
yeah.
everyone will, I'm so sure everyone will come back to it. I mean, what do you think? I mean, the state of it all now, here we are at the end of June 2020. We've got messages coming from this side of the Atlantic, from our government saying, oh, there'll be a phased um, getting back into the stages of getting back into the theatre. Well, but the theatre, it looks like the theatre is the last stand, isn't it? The last part of the
Yeah.
economy that's going to get running again. And with all the calls coming from anyone to do with the theatre, people who run theatres saying we're on our knees, we've got to get back to this soon. And there was also in the New York Times this week about Broadway that's definitely going to be shut till the end of the year. I mean, what do you think the government should do in terms of help right now?
Well, in helping the actors, the self-employment grant has been extremely helpful. That's where I have to say, and that came straight away for me. I don't know if anybody else has struggled getting that grant, but that was really helpful. Um, how do we get back into the theaters? I'm not. I'm not sure yet. I'm not. I mean, by everybody wants to go to the beach right now. The
Yeah,
beach is packed.
yeah.
So, do people want to run to the theater? Uh, I don't know. I think the spread out thing, like you could do at the cinema, works for the cinema. I don't know about theater because we like to be, feel the play with everybody else in the space. Um, yeah, I really, I don't know. I guess my first instinct would be keep things small. Nothing too grand. I don't know how the big West End musicals are gonna do in those big houses. You need theater needs full houses to pay the actors and the crew, and you know, eh, so I don't know how they're gonna afford it. But to get those restaurants and theaters back open is probably a necessity.
And
Um,
it's the restaurants as well. I was talking to Gary Wilmot yesterday, and he brought that same subject up about it's not just the theatres themselves; it's all the satellite industries, the satellite businesses around
yeah.
theatre that keeps the city really buzzing.
I have more I have more ideas how are, I don't know what the government so much can do. I have no idea. I really wouldn't want to be making those decisions for those
No.
guys and gals. But artists, we're gonna tell our stories, even if it goes back to Commedia dell'arte, and we open up our van and we tell stories that way. I think keeping those small troops and going around to the parks and the community centers, the church might be the way that we do theater for a while.
Yeah.
Um, it's not the big West End glam musicals. Uh, Maybe those will have to be put on hold while we tell stories like we used to, and uh,
Yeah,
as,
and we can't predict it right now, can we? But that sounds like an amazing idea because that gets people working again too, doesn't it? And bringing theatre to the
yeah,
people in the way that it's meant to be anyway.
yeah.
Um,
Um, it's funny. My wife and I, we have an allotment, and we keep thinking of putting on little shows at our allotment for just our people in our allotment site. Is that my mom? No.
oh, see, it's real life encroaching.
No, it's fine. Someone will answer it. So we've been thinking about trying to put on shows in just our porch of our shack in our allotment.
Yeah,
Um, that's so I think little things like that. That's maybe the way we have to go for a while. Artists will not be, locked down. Come on, ain't
no,
gonna happen.
no. Well, we'll find our way through. Now, these 7 questions that we have on the meetup, we have our
Yes.
serious questions about what's going on now, but then also you get to the fun stuff. And I've always wanted to know this, what is your favorite show of all time? Whether it's one that you've been in or just your favorite show, you have the chance here to, what is it?
I don't know. Can you? Ah, okay. Well, I saw the. I'll just throw out some ones that I've really liked, but then I'll focus it on my favorite. I did see Rent, the original company of Rent, after
Did you?
it in the West End, and on Broadway, about 3 months in to the run, and it was electric. So that's that is a one of my top three.
So
Uh,
what year was that, Cory?
that would have been in. Ah, I
Because I want to say 94, but I might be wrong, and everybody will
want
say, no, you
to
moron.
say it could have been 96, 95, 96.
Because the extra special thing about that shouldn't make it extra special is the story about Jonathan Larson, isn't it?
Correct. And the cast, all the cast knew Jonathan Larson,
Yeah.
and they all still felt his energy, and no one had left the company yet. So I did see it a few months later because I loved it so much, uh, and it wasn't as electric. I mean, it was the second time I saw it, but I
Yeah.
went the third time as well, and the cast had changed, and some of that it happens in shows. It just loses some of that original
Yes.
spark. But seeing that first run was, just amazing.
Oh, and it's legendary. I mean, and for anybody that doesn't know what happened to Jonathan Larson wrote it. He created it, didn't he?
Yes,
And
yeah.
then
And
what happened to him the night
and
before they opened?
the night before he died.
Yeah, he dropped dead. He'd gone to the hospital, I believe, hadn't he? And I think they'd said, "Oh, no, it's just a virus. Help!"
Yeah.
Um, but and that was it. And he was only young. I mean, in the most extraordinary circumstance. And then his show pretty much opened knowing that. And I think part of the energy and the incredible energy that Rent must have had when you saw it the first time
Mm,
for that, because that was absolutely in honor of him, wasn't it?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it was new, it was fresh, it was yeah. I was, to be honest, I wasn't really a fan of the rock musicals. I love, musical comedy. So that one hit me really out of left field. I didn't think I was gonna like it all that much, but I just I loved it. I loved it.
It's because it was very well written and the music is very lyrical, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I did have to. I did go back and I listened to the score, and I read the lyrics as as I listened to it. And then when I did go back the second time, I went, "Oh, that's what they were saying. Oh, that's what that means." And that was the fun of it as well, because when you're singing that hard rock stuff, sometimes lyrics don't burst through, do they?
No.
So it was, and now I still sing it. My kids, my 7-year-old asks me, "Dad, what time is it?" And I sing, "Well, it's gotta be close to midnight." Every time.
It's wonderful, isn't it? That's how a show sticks. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so what's your favourite show of all
Oh
time
yeah. Okay. So,
that you have been in then?
well, yeah. So this, Producers is the funniest musical ever written, and I
And
and
the
I
part
I
you
think
played,
Forum as well. So Forum is hysterical as well.
yeah.
Um, Mormon is funny too. But Producers for me, Mel Brooks is God. Besides that, I still think that Gypsy is the best musical ever written. And you have the poster right behind you, Lesley, that I
Yes, well noticed.
And so I do, and that was my first Broadway show, and that's when I said, oh, this is it. This is musical theater, and I wasn't that educated on my musicals. I really started out as a dancer. I wanted to do ballet. When I did get Gypsy, I was a little upset because there wasn't much dancing in it, and I wanted to dance full
Yeah.
out. And I was so happy in the end, looking back now, that Gypsy was it because it taught me how to tell a story. I got to be around Tyne Daly, who was an amazing actress, and I watched her in the wings almost every night. First time I got put on stage with her without any rehearsal whatsoever, she taught me how to act in one brief minute and a half scene, and I walked off that stage, uh, you know, uh, just numb. And all the other guys in the scene went, "Pretty cool, isn't it, Corey?" I went,
What is it she does? Because on this side of the Atlantic, we know Tyne Daly. You know what I'm going to say for Cagney and Lacey. I mean, she was
yeah.
terrific in that, but she's so much more than that, isn't she?
Yeah, yeah. She took on uh, Mama Rose character off stage just as much as on, in a good way, not like Mama Rose on stage. But she would every week she would have something special planned for us, an outing of some sort, and she really made sure that we were all okay. She dropped postcards in our dressing room spot. She really led the company, and I said if I ever got to lead a company, I would try and be like Tyne Daly. And I did with the producers. I wasn't as good as Tyne Daly, I have to say, but I did try with my bagels on Saturdays. Um, but she's just an amazing woman.
Oh,
Amazing.
that's fun. I love hearing those stories. Of
Mm.
course, did you work with Mel Brooks or did he come and see the company? I mean, what was your involvement when you were in the producers?
So I was lucky enough to I said lucky. Um, I understudied Richard Dreyfuss in the West End
And
production.
that
And
relationship
so
didn't last very long, did it? He didn't last long in that.
no, he was very good. I have to say he was very good. But physically he struggled with I mean it's a tough role
He always said
physically.
he couldn't sing, didn't he? Was it the singing he said he couldn't do?
No, I think he sang it absolutely fine,
Yeah,
great as a matter of fact. But physically it just wears you down,
yeah.
and so I think the producers of the producers figure like how are we going to make it through this run, you know, uh, and so that's why they had to part ways. And then I got to sit next to Mel with him watching Richard. Stroman directed, but Mel was there, on the side, making sure that the comedy got in there, and he is a stickler for line readings. He wants it said the way he says it, and why would you fight with him?
Is that quite frightening?
Uh, Not for me. I mean, why would you go against Mel's line reading? I mean, it's his timing. You're gonna get the laugh.
Yeah,
Your job is to make it as real as you can, but
yeah.
you you're gonna argue with Mel Brooks on how to say a line? No
No.
way. No way. So uh so yeah, but in the end, Gypsy has to win out. So on the just the storytelling and the way it's written, the way the songs go, the way the scenes go into the songs,
Oh, it's beautiful.
you know, it's perfect.
You come away. Julie Stein's music is just stunning, isn't it? And you come away from it feeling like you have been a part of it.
Yes,
You get swept as an audience member. You get swept up into the story,
yeah,
whether you want to or not, and you're carried along. And the way that the scenes are written with the music, everything is so beautifully. It's choreographed, isn't it, from start to
and
finish? It's beautiful.
sometimes lyrics are there, um, and Arthur Lawrence, just some beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Fantastic. Wonderful answer. Thank you very much. Next up is um, who's your favourite artist yesterday and today?
Right. Is that an either or?
No,
Or
please.
okay.
I'm making you
Just
work.
one? Just one.
No, you can have more than.
Okay. Okay. Well, coming from the dancer world at first, that first idol was Baryshnikov. He was it for me, and Gene Kelly because of the athleticism, Baryshnikov as well because of the athleticism. Um, uh, right now, looking back, not such of the dancer mentality. I have to say, Donald O'Connor really is the one who sparks me, and I wish I had liked him. I wish I got to know him more when I was younger. I probably would have went more that way. But I love that Gene Kelly kind of
I think we all
toughness.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, uh, of today, I would be. I'd be lying if I didn't say Nathan Lane. I have to say, I've been inspired by Nathan um, on the comic timing, uh, the way the way his work ethic. He really is. He's a perfectionist, uh, and so I've learned so much from him. And his theater work because I got to do Forum with him and Guys and Dolls and the producers. So once Richard Dreyfuss left, I stepped in for a few days, got to show my stuff to Mel Brooks and Stroman, and then Nathan came in. So then I watched him do the producers for 2.5 months. I took over the last month and a half. Um, so Nathan as well is truly inspired me. Yeah.
I love those stories. And every time you say Strayman, because she's Susan Strayman, isn't it? And she's known as people call her the Stro as well, don't they?
Stro. Yeah, Stro. Yeah, yeah. I don't call her Stro all that often. She's in my phone as Stro, but really, Strowman, I guess. Yeah.
And
I've been. Yeah.
go on. What were you going to
I've
say?
been. I just feel I've been so lucky with the directors that I've worked for, and as a young dancer, way in the third from the left, I was always in awe of these directors, and I didn't realize how amazing they were. From Arthur Lawrence, Jack O'Brien, Susan Stroman, Jerry Zaks. I got to work with a couple times, and so I feel really lucky, and Grandage and Jamie Lloyd, and feel really, really lucky. And Jerome Robbins.
Yes,
As,
exactly. I remember when we met up a while ago and I had to double check my facts because there I was sitting opposite you and you were telling me that you had been in the company of George Abbott, otherwise known as Mr. Abbott, because of Damn Yankees, because you were in the revival of Damn Yankees, weren't you?
yeah, yeah. And right before we opened on Broadway, he popped his head in the rehearsal room, and he didn't stand up and go, "Okay, you do this, you do," that." But he went, "Well, what you want to do here is," and he gave his notes. It
And he was
was
106 about that time, wasn't he?
106. Yeah,
Phenomenal. And that
yeah,
he, for me, he's Broadway, isn't he? Because he
oh,
and Hal Prince shared an office famously, didn't they, on
yeah,
Broadway? He
yeah.
started, he did everything, didn't he? He was producer, director, play doctor.
I mean, he was involved with over 100 Broadway shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Over 100. I mean, they spun him out much quicker than we do nowadays. Every 3 months there'd be a new Broadway show, and oop, you got to get George Abbott. Ooh, you got to get George Abbott.
And he was
Um,
he was always known as Mr. Abbott, wasn't he?
Mr. Abbott, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
He did sign a photograph of uh, that we had together, and he signed it for me, which I will always hold dear to my heart. It's me, Carol Channing, and Mr. Abbott, and it's quite a photo. Quite a photo,
Oh,
I have
wow.
to
Yeah.
say.
I
And
mean,
Carol at that point was 74, and so she was a baby next to Mr. Abbott,
yeah.
who was 107 at that time.
Well, it just shows you if you put your mind to it, you can keep on rolling. I mean, I love that. But, and I know that I only asked you about one artist each, but I have to mention Jerome Robbins and Arthur Lawrence as well, because I mean, they were also part of real Broadway
Yeah,
dynasty.
yeah, yeah. With I wanted to work with Bernstein, but I never got to work with Bernstein. Then I felt like I'd have that West Side Story,
Yeah.
connection, all four of them. But with Jerome Robbins, as I said, I really wanted to dance full out, and a show called Jerome Robbins Broadway came along, and I wanted that job so bad. Uh, I I had 19 auditions for it. Um,
19.
19 auditions.
He
So I'd
was
go to
famous for that, wasn't he?
yeah, I'd go to the open call, um, and I'd get down to the end, and then I wouldn't get the job, and that happened four times. Four times. The 19th audition, Cynthia and Rubia, one of the dance captains, came up and went, "Cory, go home. Go home. We do not need to see you anymore." It was an open casting call. There was about 150 guys, and they came to me and they went, "Cory, go home.
Did
When
you?
there's a part available for you, we'll call you." So you don't need me to dance? I was 19, 20. You don't need to see me dance again? You know, I'll dance some more for you. No, 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 Cory, go home. We'll call you. So I still remember that choreography from the auditions, and I still teach those dances from from just the auditions because they're in my body so much. So I never got to do the show. I got offered the tour after Broadway. They were sending out a tour, and I got offered that, and I they needed me in 2 weeks' time, but I was doing Gypsy at the time, and I had a 4 week out. So I got on my knees to Gypsy and I said, "Please, please, please let me out. I really want to do Jerome Robbins Broadway." They said, "Okay, we'll let you out." And then Jerome Robbins said, "No, I need him now.
Oh, that's what he did. Yeah, I've read that.
Now." So then I went back on my knees to Gypsy and I said, "Can I come back in the show?" So they let me go back into the show, and I was disappointed that I couldn't do Jerome Robbins Broadway. So doesn't Jerry Robbins come to see Gypsy about 2 weeks after that, and asks us to audition for his new uh, play with music and dance, and it's a story about his life. And so I got that. And so now I'm working on a brand new piece called the Papa piece. It was about his father and his relationship with his father and how he grew up. And so there I am in the basement of Lincoln Center working with Jerome Robbins. And that was and all of these old Yiddish actors, um, who were all legends in themselves. And
Yeah.
so to be around that and learning brand new matzo ball ballets and bicycle ballets uh, with Jerome Robbins was just, I had to be pinched every day. Every day.
I bet you worked so hard though, because he was a tough taskmaster, wasn't he?
Yeah, and everybody had pretty much, I was one of the only new, uh, I think, new faces to be in the room with him.
Wow.
Everybody, they all knew him. They weren't, uh, they were a bit jaded. And I was this young, like, "Yeah, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?" So he liked me and was very generous, but the other folks were whatever. Jerome Robbins.
Oh my goodness. Because it just shows you though, to keep going back with an enthusiastic face and to go and keep going
Yeah,
is what
that's
does get you noticed, whether you think it does or not.
yeah, and that 20th audition. I finally did end up working with him, not on the play that I really wanted,
Yeah.
but something even better. So that does happen for sure.
And I know it's only because I'm so crazy about all these names. So Arthur Lawrence, what was, I've got to ask you, what was your connection? Is that West Side Story?
And that was Gypsy. He
Okay.
directed Gypsy, which he hadn't done for a while, but he knew Tyne Daly was going to, he wanted to, I don't know if he was feeling well at that time. And so he wanted to make sure that Gypsy got told the way he wrote it. So he directed it. So I didn't do the national tour. They did a national tour about 6 months, and then they came to Broadway. They opened on Broadway, and one of the Broadway boys got injured. And on Broadway, I don't know if it's still a rule, but you can only have the understudy on for 4 weeks. Then you have to hire somebody new, or you have to offer the understudy the job.
Okay.
So they hired me. There was a casting call of about 150 guys, and I got down to the final 7, and then there was 3 of us left, and then the 3 of us, and I looked at the other 2, and I went, "They're not very talented. They're not very good. Really, really not very good." And then at the end of that session with the 3 of us, they said, "Cory, would you go down and try on the costumes?" And the wardrobe lady said, Larch Miller, she said, "Well, you can always cut the costumes down. You can't always make them longer." So that was a good thing for me because I'm 5'4". So so that was in my favor. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna get this. So I went up on stage. There was Arthur Lawrence in the dark black theater, and he came walking up to the stage. He asked the stage manager, "Can he dance?" Yes. Can he sing? Yes. Can he act? Yes. Okay, you got the job. So he took my hand and gave me the job.
It's
So
tantalizing, that process though, isn't it?
yeah, yes, yeah, that was crazy.
But you see, you were shaking hands with theatre history there.
Uh, yeah, I wish I. Well, maybe it was good I didn't really know him. Again, I was more about Balanchine and Twyla Tharp, and so I'm walking into the musical theater show. I'm like, okay, Arthur Lawrence, yeah, I'll meet the director. I'm like, yeah. I did, if I was like that, I might have got nervous and blown it. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, and then afterwards, I realized, oh, this oh, God, he's a big dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
always realise when you're younger, do you? How momentous things are.
At Broadway Dance Center, where I trained, um, you just talk about the choreographers, and Jerome Robbins choreographed Gypsy, and so it was his original choreography. So we always just talked about the choreographers. Those are the people that was going to give us our work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, what a chat. I always love chatting with you. Now, where are we? Oh,
What question are we on?
next up, Broadway or West End, Mr. English?
Man.
You've been asked this before, haven't you?
I have, and I'm actually happy that I get to answer it again. I really blew it on. I was gonna say, yeah, pointless celebrities. I really blew. Armstrong asked me this, and I really blew it. I think they edited most of it out. They didn't make me look too bad, but I really blew it. And so, yeah. So Broadway, nothing can beat the buzz of Broadway at 8 o'clock at night. Most shows, I think all shows, pretty much start at 8 o'clock, and so everybody's always late, coming from their dinner at the restaurant, or their train or their bus getting to the theater. So there's that buzz coming into the theater, and that from the stalls, from the orchestra, it feeds on stage, and it just lights you up. And if you got the flu, if you're not feeling good, you're instantly better, and you can go on and do a magnificent show. And you know the excitement afterwards, waiting for the cast at the stage door, is every night. And so, and being, and the talent, the amount of talent, is huge. And you feel extremely lucky to be on Broadway, because there's 20 to 50 guys right behind you, as talented as you, ready to do your part.
Yeah.
So you do feel really lucky when you make it to Broadway. But so nothing can beat that Broadway buzz.
No.
Uh, Not for me. But Broadway can be overproduced. And so when you sit down in the West End and you sit in the Garrick Theater or the Apollo and some of those gorgeous intimate theaters, and you sit down for a play in the West End, I say 95% of the time you will not be disappointed. The way the Brits are so good at storytelling. So it's a different kind of buzz, but no one does that in the world like the West End. So that's where I'm stuck answering that question, what's better? Because now I realize that they're different.
They
For
are. They
me,
always have been,
you
haven't
know,
they?
uh, gosh, not even just the West End plays, but the off West End plays, the Old Vic and uh, you know, things like that are really, and the Chocolate Factory. I don't think there's anything like that in New York that I know of as of now,
And the Donmar.
and the Dunmar, of
Yeah.
course.
They've got such a
And
special atmosphere, haven't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and the history. You just
Yeah.
can't beat the history of the West End.
Broadway has good histories, but I know exactly what you mean.
It it does. Just I don't know. You feel the weight of the past when you walk through London and then into one of those old theaters.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. So there you go. That's
So
my
thumbs up for both, really. Okay, final question. If you were to write a book about your life up to now, what would the title be? And what would your favourite chapter be?
I don't think I could ever write a book. Um,
Well, you're
uh,
married to a wonderful writer, aren't
I yes, I did marry, so she would have to be my ghostwriter.
you?
Um, so it would going on my loves, theater and sports. I would probably have to call the book Jock Straps and Dance Belts. That would probably be my title.
Okay.
Uh, just because I love sports and I love the arts and dancing and acting and storytelling.
It sounds a bit sweaty, but I get you. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's why I loved Joe Allen's in not so much in New York and Paris. No, Paris has a great feel. Joe Allen, the owner, same same kind of mentality. Loves the theater, loves the dance, loves the musicals and the plays. But he'd have all of the New York Yankees baseball player heroes, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra, and all of the baseball greats and basketball right alongside of the Joffrey Ballet.
Yeah, I never
Or
ever questioned that actually. I used to love going there, and I never ever questioned why the sports in there because for
yeah,
me,
that was
all
Joe Allen loved professional sports and New York City sports as well because it would be the Mets and the Yankees and the
yeah.
Knicks. So yeah, I love Joe Allen's, but in the new Joe Allen's they haven't put the sports back up. So
Well, that's
which is,
unforgivable. I think we should write to them.
I already told him every time I go in there. I'm like, where's that picture of Tom Seaver throwing the no hitter?
Yeah,
But
crying out loud.
so and my favorite chapter, right? My favorite chapter of the book would probably be uh, white white tights and burgundy leg warmers. Because
Burgundy.
yeah, that would probably be the chapter. I would drive my car. I would be at my ballet class and I would go directly to basketball practice in my tights and leg warmers.
Oh, how funny.
So, and I would pump my gas. I'd get petrol, and I wouldn't care uh, what I looked like. There I am in my white tights, at the gas station, filling up my car. And no one, and then I go straight to basketball practice, and the coach would go, "You're late," usually, and then he'd say, "All right, warm the guys up." So I'd be in charge of getting the team warmed up, calisthenics, stretching, aerobics. I would get them warmed up in my tights and my burgundy leg warmers, and I never, I never got teased. I never got picked on. I don't know. I don't know why. I certainly should have been. They should have been taking the mick out of me, but they never did. They never did, or if they did, I laughed right along with them, but I wasn't affected by it. There was one game I told the coach. I said, "Look, I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna miss a game because I'm gonna go to New York City with my dance teacher and go to a dance convention." He thought I was. Wait, you're gonna miss a game? Why would you want to? I said, "Well, I think I might want to be a dancer." Okay. So he let me go. I was always supported. Um, Even my
There's a
dance
massive
teacher.
connection. Sorry to interrupt, but there's a massive connection, isn't there, between being very fit and athletic and being a dancer? I mean, no wonder nobody ever teased you, because who would take you on? I mean, because you were very clearly very comfortable in your own skin, happy with what you were doing,
Yeah,
and you knew
yeah,
exactly what you were talking about.
yeah.
No one would argue with you, and they probably thought he just looks cool. That's Cory, his white tights. But
I
there
mean,
is that whole physical thing, isn't there, about dance and sport, that it's
yeah.
not so far apart.
No, but when it comes to it was the jocks, the burnouts, the nerds, the geeks. The We didn't have like theater nerds back then, so you got pigeonholed as we do nowadays. But I don't know. I just all my players on my team were they thought it was wow, he dances cool. And I was good at basketball too, so it's not like I sucked. And they're like, oh, go dance, man. I tried to make them better. I was the guy that gave them the ball, so they better be nice to me, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, that would I'd probably focus on those two worlds in a book if I ever
Well,
wrote
I'm
it.
looking forward to the book now. I'm going to write
Right.
it. Cory, thank you. This has been
Oh, my
a
pleasure.
terrific meetup.
This is
Wonderful.
fun.
Um, and I know we had some glitches at the beginning, but we survived it, so that was really fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to, because even though we've had a fantastic meetup chat today, we're going to hopefully get to meet up later in the summer when we're all allowed out, and do a proper Just Talking Musicals interview, talking more about your life on Broadway and the West End. And
All right.
I
I'll
can't
try
wait.
not to repeat any stories. I'll have to,
Yeah, I'll have
just
a list.
okay.
But it's been fantastic to talk to you today. Thank you
Same
so
here.
very much.
All right. Thanks for having me, Lesley.
Oh, it's been wonderful. A great honour. Thank you, Cory English.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Hold on.
Just talking musicals, musicals with you.